This is truly wilderness construction at its finest. The man simply took one look at this cave and transformed it into a cozy shelter, complete with stone flooring, a stone hut, and the ability to enjoy freshly grilled wild crab and eel soup anytime. It doesn't get much better than this. The man's name is Ah Wei, and because his last villa was built too close to the river, he ended up with rheumatism within a month, so he had to continue his journey, searching for other feng shui-blessed locations to settle down. After walking for half an hour, he stumbled upon a natural cave, and was immediately drawn to its survival potential, so he decided on the spot to make it his new home. First, he chopped down the vines on the ground, quickly clearing out the weeds, then used tree branches as a broom, sweeping the ground until it was spotlessly clean. The weeds at the entrance looked quite unruly, but they too couldn't escape their fate of being cleared away. Finally, after a thorough sweep with the branches, the whole area looked much more spacious. Next, Ah Wei returned to the cave and began building his bed. Using a raised rock as the foundation and stones to create a base, he just needed to level out the soil in the middle to create a natural bed platform. Afterwards, he collected small rocks from nearby and found some wild concrete to build a low wall around the edge of the bed. Watching Ah Wei's masonry technique, it's clear he has at least 5 years of experience as a bricklayer. While waiting for the clay to dry, he gathered some young, sturdy bamboo shoots from the area, cut them to uniform lengths, and wove them together with vines. The weaving method was quite simple. Even I could tell from a glance that it would result in a wild bamboo mat with built-in massage functionality. He then placed the bamboo mat on the bed platform, aligned the corners, and surrounded it with small stones to ensure he wouldn't be bothered by insects while sleeping at night. Then Ah Wei lay down to experience it for a while. This feeling of survival in the cracks is really great, but he's not sure if he'll hit his head when getting up. Ah Wei then used a shovel to flatten the floor inside the room and dig the outside foundation lower. This creates a height difference between them, preventing wild animals from suddenly visiting. As an aspiring wilderness master, Ah Wei surely did more than this to transform the ground. He quickly leveled the ground in a few strokes, then went nearby to collect a large number of stones, carrying them back to the base by himself. It's said that these stones are very expensive, weighing about 1 kilogram each. Ah Wei didn't hesitate and directly carried thousands of catties. He then laid these stones on the ground. When placed properly, they become natural decorative floor tiles. Next, he went to the riverside to carefully select some small stones. By filling these in the cracks between the floor tiles, he could prevent the larger stones from shifting out of place. Considering that the slope at the entrance wasn't suitable for walking, Ah Wei decided to build a staircase there for easy access. He first used a shovel to dig steps from the top down to the bottom of the slope. Then he continued collecting large stones to lay on top as treads. However, it's important to note that none of these stones can weigh more than 90 catties, because beyond that, they become too heavy to move. Afterwards, he used small stones to build a path along both sides. With this, a beautiful and reliable way home was essentially complete. Next, he prepared to improve the open spaces on both sides. He first used the shovel to dig out planting beds. Then he took out the seeds he had brought with him and slowly scattered them over the area. The soil here is very dark, clearly rich in nutrients, so as long as these seeds are watered regularly, they will surely grow into mature plants. But before that, Ah Wei still needed to solve the problem of tonight's dinner. He went to gather a few bamboo stalks, cut them into sections, and then used a combination of rattan and wooden sticks to make several conical traps. By stuffing these into the tops of the bamboo tubes, he ensured that any prey caught would be unable to escape. All that's left is to place them in suitable locations. While waiting, Ah Wei counted on his fingers and realized he was missing a fireplace. So he went into the woods, chose a fallen tree trunk, quickly sawed it into 2 pieces, and carried the thicker section back home. The core of this large tree was mostly rotten, and with a little modification, it could be turned into a fireplace. Ah Wei took out his tools from his backpack and began working on the tree stump with intense focus. He cleaned out the grooves thoroughly, then coated the inner walls with wild clay to provide insulation and fire resistance. With that, the tree stump was instantly transformed into a rustic fireplace. Considering there was no dining area in the living space, Ah Wei brought in a few large rocks from outside and arranged them as a table and chairs. Now it was much more convenient to eat meals and drink tea. He then went outside to collect dry firewood, lit a fire in the fireplace to dry the clay, and took the opportunity to boil some hot water for himself. Just then, a sudden cry came from one of the traps outside, so Ah Wei rushed to check his bamboo tube. When he opened it, he found quite a catch inside, but it was too small for him to keep, so he released it to find its mother. He kept only 2 eels, weighing about 3 catties, to prepare for his dinner. He cleaned the eels, cut them into small pieces, and then took out the seasonings he had brought along: peppers, shallots, onions, and more. It was clear he had come well prepared. Once everything was ready, he turned on his headlamp to light up the entire cave, then set a large pot on the fire and began cooking. For the fresh eel, he only needed to add a bit of rapeseed oil, stir-fry the seasonings until fragrant, then add the eel and stir-fry over high heat. He then added water and let it simmer for half an hour. Just before serving, he added tomatoes for freshness, resulting in a delicious pot of tomato eel soup. Indeed, a cook who can't catch eels can still be an excellent wilderness chef. Ah Wei eagerly picked out some eel meat and couldn't wait to start tasting his creation. Occasionally sipping fresh boiled water, who wouldn't envy such a life? After eating and drinking his fill, Ah Wei came to the cave entrance to enjoy the night view and did some radio calisthenics to aid digestion. To prevent wild animal attacks at night, he lit candles in every corner of the room before lying down on the bed and peacefully drifting off to sleep. However, early the next morning, he took his axe and went into the forest, starting to chop down trees all around. It turned out that last night's long-burning candles didn't work as planned. Every 10 minutes, wild animals would come knocking, causing Ah Wei to stay awake all night, so he decided to build a proper wall outside. He brought the collected logs home, quickly stripped off their bark, and squared off all 4 sides. Then he chose the 3 most suitable logs, placed them on the ground to measure, carved a tenon at one end and a mortise at the other, ensuring they fit together perfectly. He then drilled a small hole at the joint and made a wooden peg to insert, guaranteeing they would never separate. Ah Wei is 23 this year, but with carpentry skills beyond his years. Even a simple preparation step showcases his exquisite craftsmanship. He cut the remaining logs into 50 centimeters lengths, squared off all sides to create perfect wooden bricks for building the wall. To ensure these bricks stay in place and don't wander off, Ah Wei chiseled 2 holes in each, made wooden pegs to insert, and after carefully aligning the positions on the base and creating matching holes, he was ready to officially start stacking the wall. After Ah Wei's day and night of hard work, the 4 surrounding wooden walls finally stood firmly on the ground. Next, he found a few small logs, and using the same ingenious method, combined them to create an impressive large gate. He then carved grooves in the doorframe, and using a sharpened log as an axis, he was able to install the large gate directly. The window placement didn't need much decoration. Just 2 wooden sticks, one fixed and one movable, were enough to ensure good lighting and ventilation. Under Ah Wei's careful care, the vegetables at the entrance had already started to sprout. He eagerly picked a handful, saving them for dinner later. Then he brought 2 tree stumps from nearby and placed them on either side of the entrance. After nightfall, he used citrus wood to light them, which would help keep unwelcome wild visitors away. Later, he ventured into the wilderness with his headlamp to find his dinner. He reached into the river, feeling around, and accidentally caught a small crab. From Ah Wei's experience, finding one crab meant there was likely a whole nest of crabs hidden nearby. So he continued searching the area, and indeed found a small colony of crabs. He then returned to his base and set up a grill on the fireplace. He placed the prepared small crabs on it, using the remaining heat from the charcoal to roast them for an hour until they were golden brown on both sides. He then transferred them to a plate full of vegetables. Using lemon, chili, onion, and other seasonings, he prepared a bowl of sauce. Now he could officially start enjoying his dinner. After eating and drinking his fill, Ah Wei filled his treehouse with citrus firewood, closed his large gate securely, and then lay down on his bed, falling into a peaceful sleep.